Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, PearlyThings made a short where she was doing her makeup horribly. And she said, women are depreciating assets that even if you're a 10 when you're young, you're going to be a 6 at 40. And what I really resent about this again with Pearl is depreciating asset is a very economical term that doesn't return reward. So it's something that has no benefit to you, and you shouldn't invest in it because it's going to not return your profit, your capital, right? It's very economic language to place upon a woman. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it to where women are going to age. And there is no hadith that I have come across, and literally hundreds that I've read, and there is no Quran ayat that I can recall where it says women are less valuable when they're old. Okay? Now, it is important to tell women your beauty is finite, so you need to use it to land you a husband, right? That's good. But when you say depreciating asset, it changes the tone because you are now putting in the minds of men that when their wife ages, she's going to be a depreciated asset. Okay? An asset adds to you. It has something very valuable to give and will keep giving you rewards. Keep giving you a dividend. Alright? You'll get a return on what you invested. But a depreciated asset has no return. Now, what's really disgusting and demonic about this kind of language that PearlyThings uses is it hurts women who are pregnant and who have given birth and are mothers, because your body is going to stretch, you'll get stretch marks, you're going to be bloated, you are not going to feel very comfortable or very sexy or attractive, except for the women who do porn while pregnant, and that is a very huge, disgusting sin. Okay, that's a disgusting thing. And I've heard people also say, be sex positive during pregnancy, and it's like, can you just stop thinking about sex while you're pregnant and just focus on taking a nap and having some water and praying and being healthy, please? And so, either way, you square it, a lot of women suffer with postpartum depression because, especially when they're first-time moms, it's because they're just feeling kind of weird. Their cervix has to stretch back down. They're bleeding. If they have stitches down there from having to have what's it called, an episiotomy, where they have to snip right there. It's just you're especially if she's never breastfed before, her boobs are engorged. She's just awkward. If the baby's crying, she's like, oh, what's going on? She's not going to feel like a Barbie at that time, and that's a huge challenge for women to not see themselves as a sex object. Now they are a mother who has to focus on sustaining that baby. She cannot just put the baby outside with the crows while she does her makeup for 2 hours. When you're a mom, like, you're just trying to get through it, especially if you have a colicky baby or your baby was born with a disability or has to spend time in the NICU. Your nerves are on edge. And a lot of women gain weight when they have children. It's normal. Some women, unfortunately, because they want to be sexy, they really starve themselves and have low birth weight babies, or they don't eat proper nutrition. It's very problematic. A woman should be focusing on eating good, gain the weight. Don't worry, mashallah, you'll lose it. Just focus on growing the baby, recovering. This is the healthy words you say to women so they don't fear motherhood, so they don't fear not looking sexy. Okay? It's okay to just be a mom and reside in that motherly energy. You don't have to constantly be a boner turn on for men. It's okay to let go and to say, you know what? I need to just focus on the child and praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and taking care of the children. I come after them. But this language she uses is showing And her saying it while she puts makeup on shows you she's getting more insecure. Because beautiful women have been trashing her online, and she has called herself a 5. She has more of the plain Jane look, which I favor because I'm not really into makeup. But her trying to put makeup on now, and then still insulting women over beauty, you can see the insecurities that battle within her. Because she used to be fat. She was not wanted at all by the male jocks in school, as she has stated. She has not been picked yet, even though she runs around in the Rollo Tomasi, John Zechra, Andrew Tate, Myron, Nick Fuentes, all these groups of men, predominantly men. None of them have hooked her up with their friends. Or her herself. Right? And so her networking strategy of being mean to the pretty Barbie hasn't worked. Because she's more masculine and less beautiful. I'm more masculine, but I know that the strategy, I don't need to get a man. Because I already have one. But you have to change when you're trying to get a man. Some men like more forward women, and some men want, someone more laid back who they get to go to. Sperm goes to the egg. Some men want that just really adorned woman that they have to approach in a different manner. And some kind of like the Athenian, Amazonian Wonder Woman coming to them and showering them with praises on their ego. So you gotta know your balance here. But Pearl, I think, really suffered mentally when she got dumped by a fat rapper who didn't really have money, who didn't marry her, and is, not handsome. And now she's struggling with, well, how do I get a religious man? Because who she had before wasn't religious. And she is following a cult member, the transformed wife, who was cheated on by her husband, and who has very strange obsessions with talking about sex constantly. And it's looking like she's really mentally struggling with, who's gonna find me a husband? How do I find him? How do I change? And so you see this total disaster in her mind while she's berating women, and you're like, honey, you're telling wives how to be when you're not one. You're telling mothers how to be when you ain't one. You're telling married women to endure things when you couldn't even endure a guy for a year and a half. She didn't even date that guy for 2 years. So what do you know? You're hearing from just the male side. You have to have a balance when it comes to those two views. And so when you see her now saying in other tweets that I'm going to share with you, but are on her Twitter, society would run fine without women. She says pornography is good, especially for sexless marriages. She supports the MGTOW movement, men going their own way, which is extremely unhealthy. And so you see this pattern developing here, which is not good for men, which she's promoting. And also sick things that are not healthy for girls. Now when she says another insult is women are depreciating assets. They go down in value. I would say that a woman's beauty goes down, but her wisdom goes up. In life, as I've lectured many times on this channel, it's not just about obsessing with plastic surgery, obsessing with beauty, and being attached to your mirror. Because this is causing young girls to struggle, as we have seen with the Instagram phenomenon of young girls having low self-esteem, wanting to delete themselves because they keep seeing these filtered, photoshopped, plastic surgery created, heavily make-upped, wig-wearing women, making them think that that's a real image. And some are just straight up AI. Okay? And so this is unhealthy for these young girls. You have to learn to be like, hey, love who your natural face is. Love how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made you. Do the best you can, mashallah. But keep going. Don't, be on the mirror like an octopus. You gotta be balanced in life. Allah blesses us with beauty and He takes it away. That's just part of life. And you have to be gentle with these young girls. Like, yes, you're beautiful, but use your beautiful energy to attract your handsome mate that you want, that nice stag. Get you a provider, love him, be with him, work on your marriage, have beautiful children in harmony, and mashallah, do the best you can. May Allah bless your marriage. Because these girls being so attached to their beauty, it's harming them psychologically. Women love to be beautified, and men like to see their beautified wives. But for Pearl to say you're a depreciating asset, you can't bully women into wanting motherhood. It's a hard road, and when you become a mother, your beauty is secondary. You ever seen these women who are heavily makeup and the kid's got boogers, he's in a dirty clothes, the child is neglected, but she is not. But when you see all the kids are clean, but the mom, she's got her hair in a bun, she's just trying to make it. She has kind of like a mom vibe. You're like, I get you, honey. Like, she's different. And it doesn't mean you let yourself go, but when you're a mom, you stretch yourself real thin. You stretch yourself real thin. You age faster. The stress of children ages you faster. And you don't got money and time to be going and getting a bunch of plastic surgery while you're trying to take care of your children. That's why surrogacy is on the rise. These women are afraid to have children and to not be beautiful, so they're paying poor women to have the kids for them, which is selling of human babies. It's a disgusting thing, surrogacy, in my opinion. Okay? Where the Kardashians are doing it, Khloe Kardashian and Kim Kardashian and others, where they're like, oh, you know what, I can't have a kid, or my body, because my body is a commodity. I need my body to be sexy at all times. And the media was really mean to Kim when she got pregnant, and they mocked her. She didn't like that mocking, so now she's paying someone else to grow the baby. Her past children. 2 of them, I think. So when Pearl says this rhetoric of you're a depreciating asset, this makes girls more afraid of pregnancy, more afraid of motherhood. I literally saw one woman say years ago, I'm so glad I got my abortion because now I can fit into my jeans again. And you're like, why would someone say that? It's because they're so attached to their body and in the temporary gift of beauty that they lost sight of how time is going to strip that away. Joanne Rivers died on the plastic surgery table because she couldn't stop getting plastic surgery because she didn't want to age. Aging with grace, like Dorothy of the Golden Girls, Blanche of the Golden Girls, Rose Nyland of the Golden Girls. Aging with class should be brought back to young women. But PearlyThings using this rhetoric of depreciative assets is evil on girls. Especially when Islam, tells us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will to cover our beautification. We cover our beauty. And this is a very hard thing for women to do. And so when women are told your beauty is the only valuable thing, as Pearl is putting it, that gives an asset to a man, when it goes away, you no longer are a good asset. You're a liability, you're a burden. This is very evil. Okay? And so Pearl's message is not good for men to look at women like that. An old woman is not a depreciative asset. Okay? If an old woman is 50, she's on a cruise, okay? She sees someone she likes there and they get married. Oh well. It's not bad for an old person to get married if they are a widow. It's nothing that's haram. They get married. They just want to have a companion. They have to get married if they want to have the male touch or the female touch. So, if a man, he has wealth, there's a woman who's 45, she's got 2 kids, she's a widow, and he says, you know what, I'll take on a 3rd wife. He should not look at her as a depreciative asset, but that he's doing a good deed. And then if he does a good job with the children and with her, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward him, because the reward for good is only good. And if she prays for him and the children pray for their stepdad, that is a good thing. We have to help people to want to come together, to compete in goodness. And it's okay to tell women, yes, your beauty is temporary. I'm not saying you shouldn't lie to them. But you have to say it in a softer way, because beauty is not the only asset. as Pearl frames it, as she puts on her makeup in a very weird way. It's a trend where the pretty girls on TikTok do their makeup in trash talk. And as someone who's more masculine, as myself, when a beautiful 10 is catty and icy, if you're the less pretty one, you just have to speak truth and deal with it. It's a different type of energy dynamic. It's like when you're more of a wimpy guy and this very muscular, athletic, popular jock is on you, you have to know how to navigate that energy because they've won you in a certain way. Women compete in beauty. If you're less beautiful, you have to just speak truth and deal with the sting of the mean girl pretty cattiness. And Pearl is not being able to process that very well because she keeps doubling down with the evilness and attacking femininity in that way. And Pearl also, she doesn't have that same Barbie body, you know, and so it's something that she should look deeply within herself and ask herself, is this a smart mating strategy? Would she tell her daughters they're depreciating assets? They're getting less valuable with time because of their beauty. If we put such an emphasis on beauty, this is going to hurt women's purpose in life in the long run. I saw a video once of a girl, you can look it up, she got bit by 2 rescue dogs over 100 times. Her face totally mutilated. She's still living on. She got mauled. You see burn victims. You see women who they lost a leg due to a diabetes. You know, tragedy strikes beautiful women. The witchy women types who obsess over beauty cause a problem. Okay? Beauty slips through your fingers. You have to know how to maximize it, how to utilize it, but not cherish it like Gollum in the Ring. You have to be able to let it go. And you have to be able to take the whips of meanness from beautiful women. When we age and we're trying to reason with the pretty girls, they're going to get sassy and attack. It's just how women are. So Pearl should learn how to endure that, how to manage those feelings, instead of going and doubling down and telling women you're something that doesn't give a reward over time because you don't have your beauty anymore. You're an asset as a woman because you help the energy in the home become better. You help a man earn good deeds. You help protect the children. You help become a watchful eye in your community. You help people when they're full of sorrow. You feed them good food. You give them a shoulder to cry on. You lend them clothes when they don't have any. You let them sort of rant and unleash themselves in a way that's healthy through communication, right? Confessions in a way that are healthy. There's so much good that women can do. So they are an asset with age, the wiser they become. Old people who gain knowledge are very valuable. And so the only thing that women should be told is to do good deeds sometimes, I'd argue. Do good deeds, appreciate your beauty, but don't let your ego get inflated and don't be, so attached to vanity that you become pompous and arrogant because beauty fades. Utilize it, appreciate it, but don't look at yourself so evil that, oh, now that I'm old and I got wrinkles and I got gray hair, that I no longer have value. I have no use to a man now because I'm not beautiful. This is very evil. It's a very evil way to raise children and to think of yourself as a human being on this earth. And so, Pearl needs help. She desperately needs help. What kind of man wants to marry a woman who says she's a depreciating asset to him? She's literally telling a man, I will lose value because I won't be pretty anymore. This low self-esteem, self-deprecation, self-insulting, self-hatred is very gross and scary psychologically. Just add up all the statements Pearl has said in like a long book, a long transcript, and ask yourself if you don't see that as a red flag. Take off the bias of, oh, I like red pill, blah, blah, but really look at it and ask yourself if that's a sane person who's secure in themselves and ready to be a mom. Get it together. Get it together. So, I mean, Pro got some problems, man. That I can tell you. Crazy. I'll be archiving her tweets more often in my blog, www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArchive, because I think once she gets married, once she has kids, I want to have all these old tweets. Be like, if you changed your mind, you should apologize. You should apologize. Let me know what you think. It's a very interesting conversation. Very interesting conversation.